Well, I've got 13 seconds. Ms. Pryor, explain to me, Judge Pryor, excuse me, explain to me the legal basis for a universal injunction.
For a universal,
Universal injunction, the legal basis.
the legal standard for nationwide.
Not the standard, the legal basis. Where do the federal district judges get the power to issue a universal injunction that affects everybody in the United States?
I understand, Mr. Kennedy, that question as to whether or not judicial officers have extended and gone beyond their limited power under Article 3 is a highly debated question of both public debate and discussion.
Yes, ma'am, but when a federal district judge issues a universal injunction that applies not just in his or her district, judicial district, but the United States, and the parties say, Judge, what is your legal basis for doing this? Is there a statute? Is it in the Constitution? What is the answer?
What within our district and the Southern District of Indiana, the injunction, the preliminary injunction, has been limited to that of the parties and the litigants.
Maybe I'm not being clear. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. If you could, just tell me the legal basis. Where does a federal judge get the authority to issue a universal injunction?
The authority that judges in the DC Circuit or in other areas that have applied a nationwide injunction, the question that was raised before the court or the legal standard they have used is questioning whether or not the federal government, a policy or executive power can be executed. In those circumstances, those judges have issued what's been deemed as nationwide injunction.
I know they have, but what's the legal basis for it?
Again, that's my understanding of when those have been enforced.
Okay. Thanks, Judge. Judge, the middle judge, I'll call you. Can the United States Congress do anything, legislate in any area that the Constitution doesn't prohibit?
Thank you for your question, Senator.
You're welcome.
That would be correct. I believe it's under the 10th Amendment. There are certain discretion for Congress to go beyond the list that the Constitution provides in terms of the matters that can be legislated.
So you believe that Congress has plenary power as opposed to enumerated powers?
Well, I think that the Supreme Court has acknowledged that there are some rights and that are not enumerated, and the Constitution recognizes the Congress's ability to...
No, we're not talking about unenumerated rights. I'm talking about the power of Congress to legislate.
Congress indeed has that power as per constitutional acknowledgement, sir.
Okay. So you're telling me that Congress can legislate in any area unless someone can point to the Constitution that says it cannot?
My understanding would be that Congress indeed can legislate extensively. It doesn't have to be enumerated exclusively. I think that's a recognition that Constitution acknowledges.
I don't think that's right, Counselor or Judge. Counselor, can you tell me if you're on the federal district bench, you'll be asked on occasion to issue a universal injunction? Can you help me understand the legal basis, the authority of a federal district judge to issue a universal injunction?
Senator, let me start by saying that I have never worked with a universal injunction, nor the District of Puerto Rico has ever issued a universal injunction.
Yes, ma'am.
Having said that, there is a lot of debate as to...
Yes, ma'am, but the chairman's going to cut me off. Just tell me what the legal authority is for a federal district court judge to issue an injunction that affects beyond his or her judicial district.
As I said, I have never worked with a universal injunction. My understanding is that it comes from Rule 65 of the Rules of Civil Procedure, which are the rule that governs injunctions. That's my light understanding on the matter. As I've said, I have never worked with a universal injunction.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.